I gotta get that here. And I gotta get my cord, so I'm gonna plug my phone in. Yours truly, Rockin' Dave, the real deal. North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida, and all that good stuff. Sorry about the clicking and the phone shaking and all this, that, and the other. So we're going to try a set of elixirs, and a good YouTube friend that I know that's up in the Bradenton area, along with Mike Lipinski. Mike, thank you so much for the purchase of the CDs, man. I really appreciate that, brother. That was so kind of you. And Deb did ship out the other CDs. I think it was yesterday. So, and just let us know because I want to make sure you get those because you're spending your money on us. I appreciate that, man. It's very, very kind of you. And see, it's people like you that help us go. You're the sponsors. You deserve the credit, and it's so much appreciated. But there's this guy named Jason Stallworth. He's up in the Bradenton area, and he does a lot of outdoor gigs. And he swears by these the nano web elixirs. So one of his live streams, I said, you know what, I wonder how those work out. And it is becoming summer down here, and Saturday's gig. Oh, by the way, this is what Realities of Gigging episode 2. Like a sitcom or something, or TV and detective show episode 2. All dramatic. Let's see. Um, hey, John Dawson, what is happening, brother? Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Um, but anyways, it's Saturday's gig it was very hot, man. Very humid. Sunday wasn't too bad for Mother's Day, but Saturday was very hot, and then it's only hotter. So I figured, well, Jason Stallworth up in the Bradenton, Tampa area, he uses these, and he kind of swears by them, and he's in the same predicament I'm in with the heat. So I figured, why not? We'll give these a shot. So I figure let's go ahead and give these elixirs a try. If they work out, well, then I'll be using them. I got 3 packs. I bought a 3 pack from Sweetwater. I really like to see if Educators Music has them. If they do, we'll just go to Educators Music. Give my friend Chris the support. Um, and let's see how these work. I'm going to date that box today, changing them. So it'll be dated 5/15/24. I'm going to see how long I could go with, how long they actually last. Now, I'm not expecting them to last too long in the summer because it gets humid, but it'll be a good test anyway. Um, if I like them, we'll just keep using them. That's all. And yeah, man, with the heat and humidity, man, it's just. Uh, I know Gibson does have uh, it's called the traditional Les Paul, and a flat satin finish, and I think that guitar is like 12.99. The finish is not real fancy on it, but it's a flat matte finish. It's not real like flame like this, but kind of on the practical. But this guitar's got tone. You sacrifice one for the other. Now, what you might notice, and I don't see if I could zoom in. Maybe I don't have to zoom. I'm doing a wraparound here, and I've been doing this for quite some time now. In the past, I never did this. I never liked this, but it kind of helps me in my situation with breaking strings. Which, by the way, as hot and humid as it was Saturday, I did not break any strings, and it didn't really go tone, out of tune a little bit, but the tone was starting to slip, and I could hear it. Um, and same with Sunday. So it's time to change the strings. So what I do is unlock my locking tuners back here. Honestly, guys, I'm not a big fan of locking tuners back here. The Floyd system, that's different because it serves its purpose. And I'm not saying this doesn't have a purpose, but it's just an extra thing you have to do, and it really does not help your tuning. So people say it helps you tune, and it doesn't. It just locks the strings in. So we're going to go ahead and take these off. Now I'm going to show you what I do for the wraparound, and I learned this from another video quite some time ago, maybe about a year or so, maybe longer, I can't remember now, when I started doing the wraparound. But I can't remember the guy's name, and I apologize. But, you know, your stop bar tailpiece, it's not really meant for wraparound. It's thinner. You know, it's not as thick for wraparound. So what I do, and I got this trick from this guy, that you take the ball end, because if you don't, when you take an extra ball end, and you kind of are pushing this part where the wraparound is, which further inside there, as opposed to sticking out and potentially coming up, and you getting poked by a sharp point of wraparound. Not too much on the low E, A string, and potentially the D string, but on the treble strings, yeah, it gets real sharp. So, let me go ahead and do this to make life a little simpler. Make life simpler, right? I take the ball end, and I'm going to do that when I thread the string. I thread it through, like example. I'll thread it through, and it's just a busted out ball end from a used string. Put that through there. So you see that? Put that down there, and it gives you like extra space to push the thread back. As soon as this guy was talking about that, I said, I know what this guy is doing. I think that's pretty smart, man. I got a whole little baggie of extra ball ends for that reason. And I've changed the string, you know, at one of the gigs. I've popped the string, and, you know, Deb's there to help me thread that little ball end through. And for whatever reason, it works. So, very happy about that. So, we'll go ahead and get these off. I hope everybody is having a great evening. Oh, poor Gibson, man. And so it is. I don't mean to hit. I probably knocked that. I hope everyone could see this, and this the live stream doesn't turn all pixelated. You know. Matter of fact, I was gonna send Jason Stallworth a message, but that's okay. I'll send him a message. He can watch the live stream, since I am giving him the credit for the elixirs. See, I need to see somebody that's down here, out there gigging, and, you know, kind of confirming that, hey, yeah, try these strings, because they do work for him. We're in the same predicaments with the heat and humidity. Everything is outdoor down here, man. You know, it's in this particular area where we're at in Florida, we have what's known as an in season and an out of season. And because it's close to the out of season, what would constitute an out of season? The humidity. And it gets super hot down here. So it's something that, if you're going to be gigging and you're in a warmer climate, or really anywhere, because up in the Midwest it would get hot. When we used to play at the Bristol Renaissance Fair up in Bristol, Wisconsin, you know, we were all dressed up in those costumes. Now, I mean, we were there like 10 hours, because we would have to attend safety meetings and that. And even though we're performers, we have to kind of be aware of our surroundings. So if we need to call security, you know, we could do that. But we'd be out there and it'd be hot, man. So, point being made here is that it gets hot anywhere. And when you're outdoor gigging, not only are you taking a beating, but your gear's taking a beating too. So, you know, what are you going to do? You get several fans and blow it on your effect pedals, have it blowing on you and blowing on your gear. Which back in the day, especially with the Fender twin reverb amps, we have them on the tilt back legs, because you know they come with those, and we have a fan back there blowing on the tubes because you're playing outside in the summer. It's hot enough in the summer. Don't need to make it any hotter by boiling your tubes. Like that's as Liquitex. This is what's called a gloss varnish. So if you're doing any paintings, you want to finish your painting, you use this. I got all kinds here. Gloss, a medium gloss, a pouring medium, and satin finish, and then the gesso. So when you go to paint on the canvas, it preps the canvas. Okay, what I do have to do, and I have to make sure I have this handy, is my little wax. Why would I use wax? Well, actually I can use the wax now. Ah, that's right. To put over the nut to help lubricate the strings. Maybe, you know what? See, I think I got it in here. In the case. Yes, I do. Put that when we're ready to put that. Okay. Oh man. Running out of space. So, just certain things you have to keep in mind when you're gigging out here. You're at the mercy of the weather, your elements, and just be careful with your gear, because this is not like a DeWalt tool. You can throw it around, bang it around, drop it, and it works great. The more expensive the gear, the more sensitive it is, you know. It'd be interesting if a manufacturer were to start thinking about, hey, you know what? I've been watching this Rockin' Dave's channel. He's talking about people gigging outside. I would have never thought about that. It's a reality, my friends. Unfortunately, not many people think about us. So we have to look after each other. I tell you what, if I would ever get into guitar building, being a luthier or anything like that, I would do a lot of research. And of course it would take a lot of money. And but if I were to get into that, two of the main things I would focus on: the tuning and the stability of the strings lasting. In other words, not breaking so much. Because that's an issue. You ask anybody, that is a big issue. And then, you know, they're having us play like 3 or 4 hours. You play in a band, you know. Okay. I can't see the chat if anyone is talking. You know, I have to come back to it and answer questions. Maybe I could do that real quick. Is anyone down there? Yeah. Hey, Mike, what's happening? Yeah. Let's see. We will see if we do that, my friend. Oh, keep hitting the thing. Yeah, you know, over at Yucatan's, since we're back in action, it's they got us on that. It's porch area. We're using it as a stage, and I'll tell you what, it's great, man. It is great. We got all the room we need, and they're so good to us over there. It's proof right there that there's good people out there. The owner is such a great guy. He works. You'll see him out there behind the bar serving. He'll be helping the wait staff. He's just, man, just a down to earth guy. He's a hard worker. You don't really see that too much, man. Fairly young guy too. I mean, compared to, well, at least what I think. Um, and he's just a hard worker. And the whole staff over at UB Cans are great, man. They're great people. They really care about their customers, man, and it shows. It shows. And they care about the staff, and they care about the musicians. I mean, they're a prime example. Prime example. Another place that's a prime example is Jungle Bird. Jeremy's always been good to us. Always been good to the customers. I'm gonna tell you what, guys. For the most part, more than that is not. There's more good people out there than there isn't. I'm running out of polish, man. I might have to. We're trying to order Gibson polish, and the reason why I'm stressing that is because on the Gibson guitars, they use a different formula than for the Epiphone brand. And I forget what it is. A couple of guys, you know what I'm talking about out there, meaning what they use for their lacquer finishes. It's different than what's on Epiphone. And I think the Gibson polish is formulated for that, for their high gloss finish. I'll find out. I could be wrong. It's not the first time I've been wrong. I'm wrong a lot of times. But I just want to take care of this guitar because this was my 50th birthday present. 10 years ago, man. Yeah, 10 years. We got this January 4th, 2014. And the first gig, the first performance was at Warehouse Church, where our friend Benji Hughes, and that's in Aurora, Illinois, far west suburb of Chicago. That was the last place that we were living in, the Aurora, Naperville area. So when I say I'm from Chicago, I really am from Chicago. I was born in the city of Chicago, Cook County, what some people like to call Crook County. Then later on I lived by down the street from Wrigley Field. Oh yeah, see, here it is. Ball ends. Yeah, ball end sack. Need I say more? Okay, so I think before I put that on, I'm gonna put my fast frets on. Been using fast frets since the summer of 1981, my friends. That I can remember. Not this particular can, but this brand. It's good to see it's back in a tin. For a while they were putting in a little plastic, which is okay. Still the same shape and color. But originally it's in a tin. Just like Premier crackers used to be in a tin box. So when you're gigging outside, another thing I'll use is I got a spray of finger ease. It's just a spray I put over across the fretboard to kind of help unsticky anything with the strings, because you're sweating, and all that sweat builds up when it gets on the fretboard and on the strings. So kind of helps wipe that gook off. Okay. So sometimes when I'm making mistakes, that's part of what happens. Or if I put too much fast fret, I overslide a note. Well, sometimes I just have a brain fart, you know. We're all human. All right. Now, put that there. Put that there. So yeah, I'm gonna. If what I should do is just call Gibson and just order the Gibson polish right from Gibson. Well, eventually, what we want to do is go to the Gibson garage, and I don't know. I was saying a Flying V, but I'm thinking going back to having a custom built Les Paul. Picking the woods, picking the finish, the electronics, similar to this. Maybe the headstock will have the diamond in it. I don't know. But and it will have a pick guard, but it's gonna have a clear pick guard. Okay, now take a little bit of like chapstick. You can see the nut area, and I just go right across the nut, and it does help. Okay. And then there's a little excess. I just kind of I dab at it with the napkin, and to get that going. Let me do it then. Oh, there's right there. Just kind of dab. Okay. So we'll see how these strings do, man. I'm sure they're gonna do good. I don't see anything different, but it just might be in their windings. And if I do, now they are more expensive than the Diodarios or the other strings that are out there. I honestly, I don't have a problem with that, providing that I see the value. If I don't see the value, then I keep hitting this. Sorry about that, guys. Then I don't see the value, but I mean, I trust. Jason's he's a pretty knowledgeable, trustworthy guy, experienced guy. He doesn't. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep, there it is. The ball is there. He's not gonna say anything that's to mislead people. He's a good guy. When you get a chance to come up there, check out one of his shows. Maybe he also does host an open jam. Maybe sit in on one's open jams. Just have some fun. And I know Dean Guitars is up in that area because he did a factory tour, and I didn't realize Dean relocated up in the Tampa area. I know they had a warehouse in Chicago. That I do know. Of course, once I get the strings on, I'll have to stretch them all out and everything, I'll go ahead and cut that guy. Hopefully there's no issues. Issues with tissues, right? But yeah, when you're out there doing the outdoor gigs, man, you got to think about your gear, because you're at the mercy of that weather. The heat, the humidity, the rain, or even in situations if you're playing in cooler temperatures, because I've been in that situation. This making me still living up in Illinois. We do a couple outdoor gigs, and the temperatures would be like in the 50s, man, and you'd be seeing dew on the grass. You see the dew on the grass. It don't take long for, if that dew is still lingering around in the air, yep, it's going to make its way on your pedals. And when that happens, you gotta make sure your gear can handle that moisture. Because it's gonna be on the pedals. Or any piece of gear, out of your guitar, anything. So you can hear it slip, but you gotta stretch the strings out. Hear that? Tuning went down. Okay. Maybe I can trim that, yeah. So now this weekend we're gigging Friday at the almost said the Riverwalk. That's downtown Naperville. The Music Walk, downtown Fort Myers. Which downtown Fort Myers, it looks almost identical to the downtown Naperville, minus the with palm trees though. We don't have palm trees in Illinois, unless they're fake. So yeah, we'll be downtown Fort Myers Friday, Saturday, back at Yucatan's. And on Sunday, I'm sitting in with a friend of mine, and he gave me a hefty list of songs. But some of them I got down. I don't think I'm gonna get all of them down, but only for lack of time. But it was a potential set list, so I'm sure he understands that. But he knows I'll be able to get the job done, and I'll be working with him, not against him. So things I'll be playing is gonna fit. It's not gonna be where it doesn't fit. You know. What happened there? Okay. All right. The cat's out there meowing because he likes to mess with the strings. And he gets pissed that I don't let him in here. So, but yeah, I mean, this, even though I have the roller bridge saddles, this also gives a little extra for whatever reason. And it helps. It really does help because the weather is different down here, man. You start getting that high humidity, oh man. I feel bad putting this guitar through that because I really don't want to ruin it. Okay, so again, I just thread this through the hole, the Onyx ball, and then it just helps push it back. Because you see, right here, if you see that, those sharp edges right there, it helps keep this further back in the cavity here. Otherwise, since this is not real wide, that extra little fractions of an inch, was that like maybe a eighth of an inch, maybe 3/16. It'll pull out, and when you wrap this around, this pulls up, and it'll be up against here, and you'll be feeling it. Not a good feeling. So if you could do any palm muting or anything like that. Okay, now, since it's the third string, we go through here. Yeah, I hear him out there meowing. He doesn't like that. He does not like to be excluded from anything, kitty boy. He's something. And he's a talker. He'll let you know. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So. I was watching a little bit of a video of another guy I tend to follow when I can. Solo Gigging Life, Jeffrey Dean. He's good, man. He doesn't live stream his gigs, and I don't think Jason Stallworth does either. But see, they're both out there gigging, and their information that they give is really spot on. Is what you will go through, going out there playing. I think today's video that I've seen with the Solo Gigging Life is all about your confidence. And confidence is important as a performer because you're going to need it, because you're trying to convey your music as you're performing, and there's nothing worse to get in the way than lack of confidence. That'll ruin anything. It's not ego, it's just you being confident in that you can get the job done. And where you get that confidence is repetitive motion. If you don't get that many gigs, if you could do any type of public performance, go for it. Even, open jams, open mics. Even in a warm day, sitting out in front on your porch, playing. And take all the vibes in. You want to know why? Because that's what you're going to be up against. Not everybody's there to see you. Unless you do ticket sales. Now that's different. We had started doing those down here. Literally, we started selling the tickets I can't remember. It was very close right after the COVID thing. And everything just come to a lockdown, man. And we had to refund what we sold, which we didn't have a problem with that because we're not going to, we don't like to operate dishonestly, man. I don't understand those who do, what they think they're going to get away with. They always get caught. So, why? Honesty does go a long way, my friends. But back with the ticket sales, so yeah, that's a good way to establish yourself, despite what people might want to say. Oh, it's pay to play. Well, of course it's pay to play. What do you think all the big artists do? They're renting places out to play, to sell their merch, to sell their product. That's basically what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is how it is done. When people say, well, you don't understand, Dave, that's a production, it's part of the whole team. It's still them. When you go to see a concert, and let's say back in the day you go to see Van Halen. You go to see Van Halen on the stage, you're not going to see the production company on the stage. Oh, you see the stagehands if you get the early setting up. And they do deserve all that credit, by the way. But you're going to see the performer. So, another thing too is always remember, the one thing that you can guarantee that you can control is your performance. You cannot make people come out to see you. You cannot make people buy your merchandise. You could persuade them. You can't make them. Especially in a crappy economy, no one's buying anything. So the best advice is don't take anything personal. I know it does sting a little when you spend all this money and your expectations are, it doesn't meet the expectations, you know. But it's still a good lesson to learn. And I think the best thing out of it is if you there's a certain area, certain place you want to play at, man, and you're just passionate about doing a gig at this place. When you throw money at it, you'll be playing there. Most likely. Okay, should I get this through here? God dang, man, this is something. There we go. I still like the older tuners that do not lock. Okay. There, get that guy in there. And Mom is yelling at him now. Okay, make sure I stretch these guys out. I'm really hoping that these strings do work, because if they do, then I'll start using these. I will continue to use the Diodario Pro Art hard tension to extra hard tension on the nylon string, on the Cordobas. Those strings have definitely proven themselves. And basically, I'm just gonna really stretch these out big time. Tune it, stretch it, tune it, stretch it. And again, if these work out, then I'll switch to using these primarily on the Les Paul here and the 7 string, because I am using the 7 string a lot for some of the songs that I'm doing. The pickups, they seem to work, even though they're cheaper pickups on the 7 string. They just seem to work. These are the Pro Buster pickups, and they do have the out of phase and coil tapping, which some people don't like. I don't use it all the time, but it's nice to have that option there. I do like that. And which, if we go with the custom built, another custom built Gibson Les Paul, then I'll probably do the same thing, minus the circuit board. This has like a circuit board in it, because you could bypass it. I don't really use this to bypass it, so I know they do have it where it's just hard wired, I mean soldered. I prefer that, because there are times the spade bits that hook up into the circuit board, they get a little loose, and I have to take needle nose and kind of tighten them. And I really don't like doing that, because it's real sensitive in there. And but you know, it was something that Gibson was trying out, and okay, But this guitar does have some sweet spots on it, and that's why it's definitely a keeper. Um, I still wouldn't mind getting that Les Paul with the matte finish, the flat finish. Again, it's only $12.99. The name Gibson is not mother of pearl; it's just a decal, which is fine. But it would be primarily for the outdoor gigs. And it still has the Burst Bucker Pro pickups, so I know it's going to have basically my same clean sound. It's going to have the same. It's going to basically react very similar to this, um, with the pickups. With the matte finish, there might be a little variation. I have to actually go in there and plug it in. Basically, the best thing to do is bring in my pedal board, take it into plug into one of the QSC speakers, and then just really in the back pro audio room, just mess with it. But I don't know. But now it comes with the custom built Les Paul. Maybe think about doing the blue like a blueberry burst with highly flamed and the chrome hardware and the knobs. I don't know if I'll do the top hat. I like the top hats on this, but I think I'd go with the speed knobs on that. But it would be those clear ones so that the finish comes through. And I will put a pickguard on that one, but it'll be a clear pickguard. Give me a little bit more stability for my picking hand and all that. Um, but it's interesting how at Saturday's gig how well the gear held up. I was not expecting. I was expecting a lot of string breakage and that because it was just so humid, man. Oh God, you know the best thing to do is to pace yourself. What we do is I bring a little coolie bag. I freeze bottles of water overnight, and then I put it in a coolie bag with a little block of ice. You know, one of those little ice blocks, and the water does stay pretty cold. I mean, almost frozen throughout the whole gig, which is surprisingly. I guess part of it is because I have it in a shaded area, so the bag's not getting the direct sun. One of our friends down here saying maybe you'll look into building something for me that's going to help shade my pedals because when that sun is hitting, man, it's just hitting those pedals. But I will say this: as much as that is hitting those pedals, we do have the fan blowing on it to help kind of keep it cool a little bit. But the RC300 is working great, um, and the GT1 for a very inexpensive you know FI processor unit. The thing works great, man. No issues. We do sweep that floor. It actually depth sweeps the top of it because sand gets up there. Because when we're loading in, the way the landscaping is, there's a little bit like just like the cobblestone, but it's outlined and then it's clear where you could put like sand in there, and so you have the sand that's in there. So as you're walking up and down the stairs, your sand is going on the bottom of your shoes. So the bottom of the shoes, that sand gets into the pedals. And again, no issues with the Boss pedals without that metal switch. Surprisingly, my Digitech drop pedal, I don't have any issues. Yep, I keep it clean, and the Digitech foot switch, I keep it clean because those still have the metal foot switches. These type of things you don't think of until when you start experiencing a situation due to metal switches, and then where the metal is being pushed down, it's not a whole lot of protection from your shoe, and the sand gets in there, and that's as you're making that contact, pushing it down, it pushes that sand in there, and it gets clogged, and once it's in there, it's inside the I guess the the shaft where it goes in and down. It's just clogged in there, and it just ruins the pedals. So um, again, if any of the manufacturers care to watch this video, it'd be a good idea to start thinking about going back, or if you use those metal switches, get covers. I know I've seen a couple of covers out there people have been using, but cover up those switches because see, what I'm saying here makes sense, and I know these manufacturers know that, but they're in business to make money too. So why not continue to make the metal switches with no protection? So when it breaks, you want to, replace it. Hey, we'll sell you another unit. It's money. It's all money. Um, but those are the things you have to keep in mind. If you're gonna play outside, any kind of dirt gets on your shoe, it gets on your pedals. When you're sweating, it get all over the guitar, fingerboard, the side here. I've had it where I've had to really wipe down the side of the neck binding because it gets like crud because you're sweating. That's how you can tell a if a guitar is truly worn or manufactured worn. Manufactured relic. Manufactured relic is cool. It looks gives it the look. But you put up against something that really is relic and worn, and that is there's no comparison because time and age did all that. You know. So yeah, guys, just when you go to a gig outside, just keep in mind your elements that you're gonna be in, and if you can, yeah, again, I mean, we take expensive guitars out because I mean it just has the tone. But if you could nail that tone with less expensive gear, that'd be the way to go. That really would be the way to go, and especially getting guitars without a high gloss finish. If you could play it out in the heat and humidity, um, it'll help. It'll definitely help. It might not look as pretty, but I kind of like the worn look. I kind of like the matte finish. I like the gloss finish too. I see the more practicality of a matte finish versus a gloss. So it's gonna be the end of July. It'll be 7 years we've been down here, and we started this channel, this YouTube channel that you guys are watching. I think it was December, late December or mid December of 2017, and it was just a spoof I did, not realizing that. Hey man, I didn't realize I could do that for my phone because I'm not really hip to technology. I didn't get in. I didn't get involved in it. So, but on this channel, minus what I'm doing right now, and a couple other times, you've seen a lot of performances, about 7 years worth of performance. That's just on this channel, let alone the other channel, which we started in. Uh, our first video was loaded up, I think it was October 2006, and there was a performance at in a high school gymnasium at up in Elgin, South Elgin, Illinois. It was a guitar show. It was a trade show, and I was doing Star Spangled Banner with my BC Rich Warlock. But actually, I did a whole set, uh, and it was like you perform, and then you give a little bit of a lecture on your background and your how you do create your tracks and your technique and that. So it was like a clinic. It was a guitar show slash clinic. So, and that first video, that was in August when we did it. We played and recorded the video, and it was uploaded October 2006. And all of my videos have always been performances because it's basically what I've done. So, it's interesting when you got manufacturers out there or people out there that if they don't seem to listen to us too well, and I'm not saying all of them don't, but at least we get the feeling that hey, you guys listen. Are you kind of remembering us out there? That's why when I saw the video of Guitar Center, the CEO, the new CEO, he wants to kind of go back to concentrating on the pro gigging musician. I think that is a good idea, despite what other people might think. I'm not saying to uh, turn a blind eye to the newcomers out there or don't embrace technology, but it seemed what happened was they shifted so much that they kind of forgot about us, gigging musicians, and we will be the repeated business. And this is why I disagree with some people out there because of their lack of knowledge, and it's nothing bad on them. But what they don't understand is that when you have a chain music store that is nationwide, they could ship a product nationwide if you're en route to that certain town if you're traveling. And it's a good idea to have that because when you're in need of that, the mom and pop shops might not have that. They might. Chances are they'd have the popular items. That's what I mean. When I talk about Boss products, you can get them anywhere. Basically, you could get them anywhere. So, and yeah, you could get things shipped to you, but what happens when you're out on the road? You're not. You'll get it. You will get your items shipped to you, but you're not home. You're out on the road. You could need it when you're on the road. This is where the guitar center, the mom and pop shops, and the guitar centers will shine because when we're in need of something, we just go to the local store, and chances are they're going to have it. So the CEO thinking about the gigging musicians, us pro gigging musicians, it is a good idea. It really is. So this is something to think about, guys. Um, Always have extra strings when you travel. If you can, extra cables, you need extra picks, that's fine. What is nice, again, getting back to the Boss GT1, it's very inexpensive. So it'll be a good idea. We might, in the future, grab another one as a strong backup. But I'm going to tell you right now, that pedal, we've had it over 2 years, and we're doing a lot of performing, as you know. And a lot of it's outside, and the thing has proven itself. When it can prove itself, it's a keeper. Now, I'm not saying that you won't run into a defective here or there. That could be with anything. But for the most part, it is definitely a keeper, and it's definitely proved itself, and easy to replace because, again, most stores will have them, providing that Boss continues to make that, which I think they are because they're realizing this how popular that is. I think if they do an upgrade on that, like they did the upgrade on now you got the ME90, they put in the cabin amp sims, which is great. What's nice with the GT1, it's a small footnote, so it does not take that much space, but it's a powerhouse, especially when you go and direct into the PA. It's just something that works. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, my friends. So we're just about at an hour, and I just wanted to get this on and talk more about the gigs. I think we maybe every Wednesday do this. Not change the strings, Well, I got a lot of guitars, so I should change them. But talk more about the realities of gigging, and not all of it is bad. I mean, most of it's great, but the part that is, kind of bad is it's still good to go through because you're going to learn about it. You'll definitely it's a good learning curve, but to be aware of it because there are just different situations out there that you got to be aware of, but not be afraid of, and just be prepared for, and and be patient when you go to collect your pay. If you have to wait a little bit, just be patient because everyone's busy. The more that you show that you're in favor and willing to work with a club owner and restaurant owner, the more that they're going to want to work with you because no matter how good you are, if you're hard to work with, no one's going to want to work with you, man. That's the bottom line because they got so many irons in the fire that they got to watch. Us musicians, we're at the bottom of the list, and I don't have a problem with that because they're a restaurant. They're not a music hall. They're a restaurant that features live music. So they need to concentrate on what's making them money. You're being, if you look at it this way, they're being kind enough to give us the opportunity to play, as well as potentially bringing people into the restaurant and keeping people there. Which Jeffrey Dean was talking about that also on his live stream. I thought, yeah, this guy is good. You know, he we're about, he might be a year or two older than me, and we both basically started gigging around the same time in the club circuit. I think I've done a few gigs maybe 2 or 3 years prior to him, but I don't look at that as me having more experience than him. No, 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 no. I got a lot of respect for him. And when he was talking about it in this video, he's been doing the solo gigging thing for about 7 years now. Well, we've been doing the solo gigging thing actually we actually started in 2000, and that was while we were in the band. Um, well, we were doing more with the band than the solo gigging thing, but it started to pick up a couple years right after that. I mean, very strong. Where we started traveling, and it was like, whoa, man, this is cool. And again, I have different styles that I play, as you guys know, and it worked out. It worked out in our benefit. But my point is with Jeffrey Dean, he's got a lot of experience. That's why I like watching his channel because he'll come up with things that I never really gone through and or thought of. I thought, but that's a good point. So and like he had said, we're always learning basically. No matter how much experience you think you've seen it all until something new comes up, and then you find out you haven't seen it all. That's just life. Uh, but it's interesting, and even like guys like Jason Stallworth, who's been doing this for quite a few years, not a whole lot, but enough years to have under his belt. That yeah, he's definitely got the experience. And they give you the encouragement to get out there and play. Don't worry about it. If you're passionate about it and deep down you want to get out there and play, you'll find a way of doing it. And once you get used to performing in front of people, it becomes like second nature. It doesn't really bother you. And then it is good, as crazy as it sounds, it is good to go through situations there live. So now you know how to handle things, because you could hear somebody talk about it, but until you actually go through it, you'll actually start to feel what we feel sometimes. And once you build up that immune system, then it's like, okay, I'm good. I could think I can handle all this. Nothing's gonna kind of try to take you down. You'll be emotionally prepared, and that's always good because as a performer, especially as an instrumentalist, but a performer, whether you're singing or not, you're dealing with raw emotion because music is that. You're trying to tell a story through song. So the playing by feel is very important. Singing by feel is very important. You gotta love what you're doing, and if you love what you're doing, you're gonna feel it, and it's gonna project to that audience. They're gonna see it, and that is what gets them into it. You're not gonna please everybody all the time, but don't worry about that, because even those people might say, and I've had this happen. People come to, I'm not really, saying I'm not into that instrumental music, but man, you could play. I had fun watching you play, you know, and that's always cool because it makes their day. That's what I like about with Jeffrey Dean. He finishes up his videos, encouraging people to go out there and make music, put smiles on people's faces, because that's what it's about, right there, making people happy and making yourself happy as well. You gotta love what you're doing too. Okay, my friends. So again, we will be live. I think we're playing what 6 to 9 or 6 to 10. I think at the Music Walk. It'll be this Friday downtown Fort Myers, and then Saturday we'll be streaming live again from Yucatan's 12 to 3, and then Sunday will be 1 to 4 from Dean's south of the border up in Punta Gorda. which is the next town north of us. So, but we'll remind everybody, keep people posted. Sunday's gigs will be kind of fun. We'll see what happens there. Some surprise songs. Yeah. But anyways, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. And again, go out there if you can. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening. Be strong, safe, and true. Rock on, and God bless. Take care, guys.